everyone can build a Stream Deck plugin, even if you don't know how to code. Since I made the last video about how to develop a Stream Deck plugin, probably a good year has passed and things have changed quite a lot. So we've been seeing the agent mode appearing in VS Code, and with the latest models of Claude 4.5 and GPT-5 codecs, or whatever model there will be out there when you watch this video, they have become really, really good at coding. But if you just throw these two at the task of creating your Stream Deck plugin, you will utterly fail, because I did, and I tried. And I want to give you the recipe today on how you can make those work for you so they will write the plugin that you want and envision, and it actually works. I've done it now a few times, and I want to show you today what you need, what recipes I'm using, what prompts I'm using, and how you can get started with that. I have created a Stream Deck profile that will contain all the elements that you will require for this. So finding and navigating to all these different elements and tools will be hopefully with that quite easy. So let's see how we get started and what you need to do to get vibe coding on a Stream Deck plugin. Okay, so what do we need for that? We need a virtual Stream Deck. And I mean, you can use that on any Stream Deck, but for me, I'll be using the virtual Stream Deck now. And I did set up a few pages for you where, I mean, the names already tell you what they will contain. So let's check these out. The tutorials, I did put all my videos on there, and this video will be on there then soon as well. You can go back. I did put in a GitHub link. You overall have links to how to set up your development environment, documentation, UI components, what things you need to download. So you definitely need VS Code, NPM, and Stream Deck software. But you can also go into the tutorials, get the quick start or the full tutorial, watch these, and they will tell you everything on what you need to do to get set up with your development environment for a Stream Deck plugin. An AI agent till today won't be able to do all of these for you. Let's wait. But for now, go through these steps and you will understand what you need to install. And I can promise you it's rather straightforward. Okay, perfect. Now, once we have done this, we can also jump into the coding part, and we will do this live now. Okay, so now let's get coding. Well, more like vibe coding. Okay, so we will start with a blank VS Code. There is, let's move this one up here. There's really nothing in here, no folder open, nothing. I have the Stream Deck extension for VS Code installed, so I can just click on here. Then we can hit the create button. This will now trigger the CLI that you have installed hopefully before. And I can say, this is me. I want to create a plugin called World Pop. And this shall tell me,
can you type faster?
I want to create the plugin from that information. Okay, perfect. So while this is building, an AI agent won't know on how to develop a plugin from scratch. So that means we need to tell it how to do that, because an AI model has a very large and huge database. And if you give it an HTML for the property inspector, it will automatically assume this is a website. But for a property inspector within Stream Deck, that is not the case. And also the way a Stream Deck plugin is using WebSockets and sending data and whatnot is very, very unique. So now we have the plugin here, so we can close the one in the background. Stream Deck is already active right there. Very nice. So now we have a first version of our plugin. Here is our virtual Stream Deck. We can go to the bottom and we can see, we have a increment counter. We don't want an increment counter. We want to see the world population, right? But before we can tell the agent to build us a world population display action, we need to give it some knowledge first, right? Like you would when you start learning on how to develop a Stream Deck plugin, you would go read it up. So I did create a entire knowledge base that you can just clone into your repository or into your folder structure. And then you can tell the agent to read all of this, and it will then know how to build the plugin. So let's go into the terminal again. Say we create a new folder in here that we call docs. Then we go into docs. And now we say git clone that. And that's about it, right? Now we have in the documentation, we have the entire repository. And now we can go ahead and talk to our agent. Now we can take the head of I want to build a plugin or tell someone to build a plugin and do this. So before we start, we switch up the model to Claude Sonnet 4.5. So what we're doing with this is that we are telling the AI to read up and learn in our specific context. And this is what it's doing now. So while the AI is reading up, we can have a look of what we want to build. So I would want to use the Data Portal API from the United Nations to get numbers and locations about certain things. But I don't want to look too deep into it. One thing that is really nice that this is a Swagger API definition, so very cool. But I will let the agent figure out what it needs to give me what I want. So let's move this somewhere behind me so we can have it at hand when we need it. For us. Perfect. So that is really nice. And now we can go ahead and say,
implement the new action.
And let's see what happens. Now it's going to ask, do I allow that it fetches that website? Obviously I wanted to interact with that site, so I have to allow that. Yes, please go ahead. And you will see the model going back and forth and trying different things, but that's fine because that will pretty much be the same way of how we would start doing things. And now it's checking whether we need additional libraries to actually call that API. And we will probably see a new action file there right away, which is really nice. So now the majority of what you have to do while developing a plugin is wait for the AI to finish. That's a change. It's not even registering the action in the plugin file, so that's all correct. Now we can already start pulling up Stream Deck. It's not here yet because we need to restart Stream Deck first once it's done with the implementation. So let's give this a second. It's even creating the UI for a display-only action, which is very nice. It even registered the action in the manifest. And it's now building the plugin. Very good. So no build errors, also very good. We can go ahead and keep all of this. And while it's finishing up, we can already start and restart Stream Deck using the watch command. You've seen I've hit this button up here. And now we should see a world population action that has an error. Too bad. But then again, we have a action that has an icon. It did set up a property inspector. It registered the action correctly. So now let's troubleshoot that error. We can go in here. And surprise, surprise, we can already see that there's an error message there. So we can tell the AI to have a look at the logs by adding the context on here if you open it. So review the logs. I get an error. Done. Now let's wait. Yes, I left. So actually, apparently the API I chose was poorly chosen because we need authentication for that. We don't have that, so it's now going ahead and looking if it can find an alternative that will work about as well. And apparently it did. And this already looks quite good. So we are getting data. We have a growth factor. So very nice. Now all we have to see is if we can get that number onto the key. Probably what we need to do for that is let it run and restart Stream Deck. Perfect. We do have a functioning plugin that displays world population for us. And I didn't have to code anything. I just had to interact with the AI agent, give it some knowledge, tell it what I want, and there you go. Now you can go ahead and pack the plugin and ship it to your friends. So what did we learn in this video? All you need to do to build a Stream Deck plugin is download the profile from Marketplace, install all the development environments that you require, create a new plugin, clone the knowledge base either as a submodule if you have a Git repository, or clone it as a simple repository directly into your folder where you created the plugin, and then just talk to the chatbot and select the right or latest model for coding. My recommendation would be Claude 4.5, Sonnet 4.5, or GPT-5 Codex, and tell it what you want it to do, tell it what you want it to display, and after some back and forth, you will get there without having to touch a single line of code. And with that, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next time, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.